Hey guys. So today is Tuesday. Um, I honestly forget what day it is most days of the week now that I'm retired. Literally this weekend, me and my wife, we were out um, going to get lunch and running a couple errands. And I usually don't do that on the weekends because on the weekends everything is packed because everybody's out of work. So I usually do errands or anything like fun Monday through Friday, so that way there's not a whole lot of people. It's easier with traffic. This weekend I was like, hey, like what's with everybody out? Like, I've never seen this many people not at work at this time of the day. It was like 10 o'clock, and she's like, oh, it's Saturday, and I was like, it's not Saturday, it's like Thursday. And checked my phone, and yeah, it was Saturday. Couldn't believe it. But I'm hydrating with a little bit of canned seltzer water. My wife is big on seltzer water because she's French. She's from Paris, also known as Paris. All right, so we're like a minute in. Let's start to get to this shave. So my second to last video, it was really my last video, but I have another video I'm uploading right now that for some reason got skipped. So my last video isn't going to be in the right time, right? So my last video that was yesterday was my first impressions on the Rocnel 22. And we're just not gonna capture it, but it was on this razor. It was in a loud, noisy RV park bathroom. It wasn't the greatest content, maybe. It wasn't the worst. I wasn't sure if I should put it out there, but I really wanted to kind of give an initial impressions, what I thought out loud on video for myself and for others to see. So today is day 2, and I was thinking about skipping a day because I did nip myself in that video, if you remember. But I had my wife look over my head, and she says she doesn't even see a cut or anything. So yeah, maybe it was just one of those zingers that just kind of nipped the skin a little bit, but not enough to see a cut. So I was gonna skip a day on my head shave, but since there's no cut, I don't see a reason to. Yeah, so if something reopens, then I know my wife was lying, and there is a cut back there. Hair growth is at like 16 or 17 days. I keep thinking about using this on the facial growth too, just to see how it handles it. But I don't know. I'm at that point where the facial hair is getting annoying, but I also kind of want to let it grow out a little bit longer to see how it looks and then trim it up. So we'll see. But I've been on a fall slash like spooky because Halloween. October, November is my favorite, probably my favorite months of the year. I love Halloween. That's the one unfortunate thing I can't really do that I like to do in an RV is when I lived in a house or an apartment, I always decorated pretty hardcore for Halloween, and I haven't really been able to do that since living nomadically in the RV. Maybe if the RV was stationary, it would be a little different. If we were there for an extended period of time, I could go buy stuff. But since we move so often, when you buy that Halloween stuff, you got to have somewhere to store it. And unfortunately, I don't have a very big RV. It's 32 feet, it has a very small cargo space underneath that you can put stuff. And that cargo space, a good portion of that is taken up by my solar batteries and my solar controller and all that stuff down there. And then, I have my tools to work on anything that breaks, the solar, trucks, the Land Cruiser. All those tools stay in the truck on my bed, so even that's kind of full. But kind of side rant. But because of that, I've been just like using the hell out of back to back to back spooky style software, and I'm not huge on you have to use it. That's this time of the year. You can use spooky stuff in March if you wanted to, and I do. But I noticed this last summer I started enjoying florals and like citruses a lot more during the hotter days. And now I'm noticing now that it's started to drop temperature here in SoCal. I'm really enjoying these fall scents, and I just love the artworks on them. So without further ado, for today, we're using Southern Witchcraft Boonana. And as soon as I open it, right here, I can smell it. This is bold and banging. It is a darker pour. I don't know if it'll mess up a brush. I've never had it mess up a brush yet, but I don't know. I haven't tried it and everything. Southern Witchcraft is softer. This puck's a little harder just because it's a little older, but you can see I can still indent it very easily. And this is bold and banging. Again, very bold. I give the scent strength an 8. There's the matching splash. I really love the simplicity of the artwork. I love Southern Witchcraft's name because it's Southern Witchcraft, right? I love Halloween, that kind of stuff. Anything horror or Halloween, I'm there for it. So skull with bats, very cool, and then just the added little banana on it. Scent notes on this, I don't really know. I don't write that kind of stuff down always. If it's on there, I might say it. But my thing is that you shouldn't really be too concerned with scent notes as much as maybe what I get from it. Because I could tell you, oh, hey, scent note is banana, and maybe I don't even smell banana at all on this. This banana, maybe even like a little bit of a boozy note there, and then something else a little stronger, maybe tobacco. So I'm getting definitely banana right off the top, a little like booziness. I don't know if that's like a bourbon, and then I don't know if the background's a little bit of a tobacco maybe, but great scent, right? It smells like a creepy banana to me. I know that might sound a little weird, but I wasn't sure of it when I first bought it. We are going to use PAA cube mentholated on my head. You don't need a pre-shave with Southern Witchcraft, but I have like 3 of these cubes, and it's because a couple of them came for free with other stuff I bought. The guy threw them in, so I was like, why not? And so, yeah, I have 3 cubes, and they last forever, so I need to start using them more. And a little of it goes a long way. As you can see, you just wet the cube, put a little bit on your skin, set the cube back down, get a little water, and work it in. And again, I do think the PAA cube is my favorite pre-shave that I've ever used because I like it. They come in different scents sometimes. They look cool because they're in a cube shape. And, you know, you can buy this little dry dock for it, really cheap. You can go to the dollar store and just buy like a little cup holder or something like that. Same thing, or you could use a Ziploc bag. I really like them. They last forever and they're cheap. Again, but you don't need it. So, moving over the software, but the brush, excuse me, is going to be this beautiful, shake out a little bit more of that water, Grizzly Bay. It's called Tear in the Universe. It's a purple with flakes, blue ferrule with sparkles, and there's depth that you can't really see because of the picture, but you can kind of see it where there's actually clear spots through it. Beautiful silver coin. It also came with a really cool looking wooden box. Funny thing about this brush particularly is I saw it on the drop when it got dropped months ago. I think it was actually last year maybe. And I wanted to buy it, but somebody beat me to it, literally. By the time I hit buy in my cart, it was already sold. And I was like, dang it. Fast forward 2 or 3 months later, I see it for sale on the VSTs for a fraction of the price. Because it came with that wooden box. I want to say it was closer to 200 bucks. I don't know. I forget what his brushes used to cost with the wooden boxes, but I want to say they were closer to a couple $100. Now, I love the handle, not in fan with the knot, to be honest with you. It's not a bad knot, but it's not a great knot. This is a V17, and it's just a little bit more jelly than I like. And this would have been a little faster if I would have utilized some warm water and put some warm water in the soap. Okay, there we go. And right now I'm just trying to get enough soap going. And I think that's going to be good. That's a lot of soap. A lot of it splattered all over the ground. That's okay, I'll clean that up later. Actually, you know what? Hold on 1 second. We're doing it in the middle of a cleaning, because I just thought about it and I don't want to stiffen that. Alright, so now we got it pretty decent amount loaded. Southern Witchcrafts is usually not hard to load, but you know, if your puck's a little older, it's going to be a little drier. And I always forget that. Southern Witchcraft is so soft, I usually don't bloom my soap, meaning I don't put warm water in there and let it sit for a little bit. But yeah, maybe some of these older pucks like this one that I've had for a little bit. I've had this one since last year. I should probably start blooming just for a little bit. And I don't know, yeah, I already feel kind of like something a little sore right in there. So I don't know. My wife says I don't have a cut though. There's no cut. So I figure if there's no cut, that means I can shave. Because if there's a cut and it's deep enough, I'm not going to shave, right? Because like that's going to create scarring because you're going to keep opening it. And while I'm not crazy careful about not scarring my skin, you know, got a lot of scars from my military career, I also don't want to intentionally be an idiot and keep opening a wound. Okay, so there we go. So you saw this last time, but I don't know if you really saw it. So these retail new for $5.50 at the time in 2022. I think they're about the same price now for the 2023 if you can get them. They're made in limited amounts, and there's a slight variation in them, it seems like. So this one has a coin down there, and then there's another 2022 version that doesn't have a coin there. From my understanding, the coin is supposedly meant for more of a collectible. I only say that because other YouTubers that I've watched and from the forums I've seen, that's what they say. Like, this is the more of the collectible one, which I don't know why that little thing would matter. But that's the only big difference that I've seen between this one and the other model, is the other model has a hollow position there so it can go on a stand, and then this one would just have a regular stand. Both of them shave exactly the same supposedly, so I don't know. Again, this is hefty at 141 grams. And I can tell you right now, though, it feels as heavy as my Carve Overlander that's about 106, 108 grams. So, you know, take that for what it is. But yeah, it's even hard to give you a real snapshot of how beautiful this thing is. You know, if you're used to something like a Wolfman, it's not as shiny as a Wolfman. You know, now I kind of get why there's such a hype around Wolfmans. Because this is, I don't know, I guess this is probably about as much as a Wolfman, depending on what head you get and what handle. But the finish on this, compared to the Wolfman, is a lot different. And I guess it depends on what polish you get with the Wolfman. The basic polish on the Wolfman is better than the polish on this. This is nice. but it's not as nice as the polished, basic polished version of the Wolfman. So far, I don't have any complaints about it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I was expecting a little bit more lust and shininess because a lot of photos I've seen make it look super shiny and super bulky, but it's not as bulky as it seems in videos and as in pictures. It's very much not that bulky. I need to do a side by side maybe video with it with a couple other razors instead of shaving with it to show you it next to like say my 66 Gillette Slim. But let's get into it. So we're at 0 right now. So we're going to go up to, this time I'm going to start at 2. I'm not going to mess around this time. So here we go. And Southern Witchcraft, right now, I can still smell. Oh yeah. And even though I let this soap sit here for a little bit, which you shouldn't do because it's going to start drying out because of the air, it is still super slick right now. This thing is so freaking smooth. Like, I can barely feel anything. The only thing I can feel is the actual razor itself. Like, I don't feel the blade at all. And I think you guys can see, like, how much it's getting in just one little thing. And one thing I noticed that I didn't try last time is if you notice, there's a flat edge right here. And I'm guessing that flat edge is meant to sit against your skin, so that's the built-in edge almost. And I'm gonna try that this shave. Now, one thing I've been curious about with this too is how hard is it to keep it looking good, like keep it shiny. You know, it is made out of steel, so it shouldn't be too accessible. I know how you say that, accessible. It shouldn't be able to get water spots too easily. But that ring down there is made out of brass versus the older models were made out of gold. I'm not sure why did that change. Is brass supposed to be better? I don't know. Do you guys know, is brass better? Like, of a material, is it harder? Does it last longer? Because I kind of feel like brass is harder to clean and keep shiny. I feel like gold is really easy. You just, and I have one. You just buy like one of those little jewelry cloths that, well, that just kind of scrubs all the scratches out of it and makes it nice and shiny. Ooh. Yeah, this thing is crazy. So far, by using that built-in angle that it has right here, you can see it right there. Putting that against my skin and just letting the razor weight do a lot more, it seems to be cutting even smoother than it does. So, you know, maybe that's why I cut myself, because I was a little too iffy on that angle. But what I'll say is not only is this thing smooth, this thing is just cutting the heck out of my whiskers. Like, So some new things going on with me lately is I'm at the final countdown days of being here in SoCal. We should be leaving in the next week to make my way down to Key West to spend some time down there with my family. And kind of figure out where I want my next home base to be. I'm not sure what that home base is going to look like yet. I'm kind of considering maybe buying a home somewhere with some land. Enough land to park the RV there and to, like, you know, maybe have like a little homestead style place where I could have a garden, get some chickens, do some country boy stuff. No, but really, I just like the idea of having some land. Some of the best places I've been to or rented or had stayed at with my RV has always been more places that has a little bit more space. You know, I've lived in very urban areas too, where, you know, I have a neighbor. You know, I used to stay in here in Southern California in San Diego. I used to stay at a very luxurious apartment before I started my RV life. So, you know, there we had everything. We had game rooms. We had people that would come to your apartment to pick up your trash for you. And so I've lived very close to people. And I always just liked having a little bit more space with land, especially now having big dogs. It's really nice that, you know, I can just let them off the leash and run around, and I don't have to worry about, like, them running out of space in the backyard or something. You know, and maybe it's not possible. So if it's not possible right away, I might buy something like a dualplex or a triplex that has a decent sized lot. You know, preferably fenced in, or I will fence it in, and that lot will have enough space for me to park my RV. And you know, the plan will be to be able to live in one of those, one of the three or one of the two if it's duplex or triplex, and then rent out the other one or other two, and kind of use that as a home base of sort when I'm tired, right? So, like, you know, maybe take the RV and go travel east and west here in the States for, say, 6 months. You're going to get tired. You know, I'm already tired at some of the places here in SoCal. And that's why I'm kind of glad that some of them we can stay a little longer at. But the longest we can stay here is 30 days. But then if I get tired of my travels, I can travel back down to that piece of land and stay in one of the duplexes. Or, you know, like, again, if there is no house or anything on it, I can still park my RV. I can have a source of water, running electricity, because I'd make sure if I do buy a plot of land with nothing on it, that I'm going to have a well, I'm going to have electricity. And then if that's the case too, I would more than likely be, and we're going to stay at two. I'm liking two for today's purposes. I would probably build a house there. I've had a bug in my ass, a fire under my feet. I don't know other analogies, but to build a container home. I always thought that would be pretty cool. So if I find some land without a home on it, I will probably do that. But yeah, I'm not too sure where that is yet. As of right now, I'm thinking somewhere in Florida. I know I'll be in Key West for at least 3 months. There, you can stay a little bit longer than most RV parks I'm used to here in SoCal. Like, SoCal, it's 30 days. There in Key West, it's up to 3 months. Some RV parks it's unlimited. You can stay like 6 years if you wanted to. Ooh, wow. Other places like here in SoCal, it's a law that the parks can't allow you to stay. Um, and some get around it in certain ways where you can stay a little bit longer, but they're usually more expensive, I have found, and that's probably why they're more expensive, I'm guessing. That convenience of not having to move. You know, we also have a property in Guatemala. Um, we have staff there and we rent it out as an Airbnb. Um, so we have staff that clean and fix things as they break. Uh, but it seems like staff has had a disconnect of what we want sometimes. Um, you know, it's not in the city. It's out in the what I call the jungles. Um, so you only have so many people and so much tools and things to use out there. It's not like here where you have a Home Depot, right? Like the city's like 4 hours away. Oh man, that's nice. I'm trying to be really careful after yesterday's incident. Um, so I know there's even been thought of living there for a few months of the year. A few months of the year traveling, and then a few months of the year on like a land property. I don't know. It's hard because I'm retired now. Uh, yeah, she's been retired since she's 29, and that was like, don't tell her I said anything, but she's over 40 now, so she's been retired and able to travel for a long time, and now I am. And so there's just so many opportunities that it's kind of hard to pinpoint, what do you do? But right now I do know I need to go to Key West, and that's been my plan for a while because I want to spend some time with my family down there. Like I said, had a career in the military for the last 20 years. I haven't had the proper time to spend with family and stuff. I've been deployed different states, so I want to go down there first, do that. I got to do some things like get my Florida license again. We're gonna go 3 rounds this time, and we still got a lot of lather in here, so I don't even think I need to go back to the bowl, which is pretty crazy because I usually do with most soaps. And again, it's not my favorite, but it's honestly not that bad. And that's the reason why I haven't changed it out yet. I have thought about sending it to somebody like Milton at Turn and Shave to put one of his uh, M knots in it, as hand tied, either a low density, medium, or a high density. But every time I've used it, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not my favorite, but it's different than a lot of the other ones I have too, which I don't know, maybe that's why it's nice. But anyways, I do have 3 more Grizzly Bay handles, and maybe I'll make a video of that have no knots in them, and I definitely need to send 1 or 2 of those to Milton once he gets a chance, because they're just sitting without no knot. Still strong, still great. This time I think I'm going to switch it down to a 1. So that's the gap right now, and that's at the 1. And that's at 5. Yeah, you can see that. And again, like the thing about this turnstile is there's no clicking, so you could go like 1 1/4, or you can go 1.5. You know, so I think that is kind of cool. At first, I was kind of a little disappointed because I was expecting like a click, like my Gillette Slim. But now that I think about it, it's kind of cool that you can have incremental changes versus just a 1, 1.5, 2. You can go 1.05 for say. Boom. Level 1. Here we go. Remember that third pass for me is like a cleanup, so it's kind of like a hybrid. I go in some spots against, other spots I go with, other spots I go across. This is smooth as heck. Like it's hard to even tell that it's cutting because I don't feel a blade at all. But even there, you can see that dark stubble. I don't know if you guys can hear that feedback or not, but I'm getting some pretty good feedback right now against the grain. So yeah. It's crazy how sometimes, even after 2 passes and everything feels really smooth, when you go against the grain with an efficient eraser like this, how much more stubble it still picks up. It's crazy. Wow, this is so smooth, guys. You know, this is still not a full review on this razor because I feel like until you use it quite a few times, you're still in that honeymoon phase. So I don't want to say this is like the best razor ever. And the thing is with these Rocnels, I'm sure if this one is as good as it is, I'm sure the 2021 model is good. I'm sure the 2020 model is good. I'm sure the 2023 model is good. So what's cool about that is, yeah, you might not be able to find a 2022 because it's a used razor by this review or by me talking about it. But what you might do is you might find a 2020 or a 2023 pop-up Rocnel Sailor, just a different year. It's going to have a little bit different. If it's an older model, it's going to have a real gold ring, which is kind of cool. If this way you could still, I'm hoping, purchase with confidence that, hey, you know, based off of hearing what Dave said on his channel, that kind of leads me to believe that I would probably like it, or hey, or I won't like it. Because that's why I started doing these videos for fun, is because when I started getting into the higher end gear, I was having trouble finding videos on the higher end gear, to be honest. And I get why. One, it's expensive. So, you know, if I bought this even used, say for $400, and I don't like it, and I'm telling you why I don't like it on the video, you know, I'm saying, hey, you know, there might be some good points to it, like, hey, this is a good point, this good point, but for me personally, because of this, this, and this, I can't use it. It might be hard for me to then resell this for what I paid. So, like, if I bought it for 4 and say I can't sell it for until I sell it for 3, well, I just lost $100 out on something, and I only used it once. And I think that's the big con about this kind of hobby. And, you know, I've been in a lot of hobbies. You know, I'm an ultra runner. I haven't been running distance in a couple of weeks, just because I hurt my knee. But even now, I'm still running like 10, 11 miles, which isn't really distance to me. Distance to me is like, you know, ultras. Like, so I'm running, you know, 20 plus miles in one go. And I haven't been able to do that because of my knee, but I'm starting to get back into it. So the last 2 weeks I've ran 110 and 111, and those felt fairly decent. So, you know, I like running. I buy expensive running shoes. You know, I'm into cars. I've had some expensive cars where I modified them, everything from like an Evo to a Mustang Cobra, to an S2000 from Honda. You know, I'm into overlanding and off-roading a lot now too. We're gonna go right into Splash, shake it up. Southern Witchcraft Splash is very milky consistency, usually. And this one is kind of, but it has like some brown speckles in it. And I can't think of too many hobbies where I bought something, like say in running, I would spend $200 on a pair of running shoes. If I don't like it, I can take them back, right? With this stuff in wet shaving though, you can't do that. You know, in cars, like I'm not gonna buy $1,000 exhaust and not like it. Like you already know, you know, what performance it's gonna give you. You already more than likely know what it sounds like. So yeah, this is the only hobby I've ever seen. Putting a little bit more on my face just because it's so good. And on the beard. Oh yeah. But yeah, this is the only hobby that I know. Oh wow. Got a little spot right there. I should have hit a little hard. Wow. Oh. We just slid across that like it was glass. That is awesome. But yeah, you know, I've rambled a lot. Second use, I'm liking it more than the first use. I don't know if maybe 3 is too aggressive for me, which is crazy because there's not many settings on this. And that's kind of why I got rid of my Mercure Future back in the day. That razor, it's fairly cheap. It's like $100 or less. I can't remember nowadays what it goes for, but I paid $100 for it back in the day. Great looking razor. It's a little bulky, but it's future looking. It's cool. It's different. But man, that thing is too sharp for me. Like on level 2 or 3, I would cut myself. You know, no matter how good I was at shaving, I would cut myself. It was just way too aggressive. And I was like, man, I'm gonna get rid of this because if it's an adjustable razor, and I'm only able to use it at setting 1 and 2, like what's the point of, like to me the whole point of an adjustable razor is because you can use it at multiple adjustments, right? And I guess, you know, adjustment 1 and 2, that is multiple, but I personally feel like I should be able to get a little bit more if it's an adjustable, because if that's the case, you might as well just go with 1. So this, I'm kind of hoping that it's more than just level 1 and 2 I can go to. I'm hoping I can go to like a level 3 or 4 once I get the angle down a little bit better, and maybe find a perfect combo of blade slash razor, because blade slash razor does matter. But these Gillette Nossets, so this is number 2 use on that Gillette Nosset. It's nice. It's smooth, don't get me wrong, but there might be something smoother in it. I don't know, so I'm just going to keep trying blades with it. You know, recap, we use Southern Witchcraft Boonana. Really great scent, especially this time of the year. I love it even during the summer, but it is a little bit of a darker, spookier twist on banana. So banana's there, but it's not overpowering. There's that booziness, and that, I don't know if it's like a tobacco or what's that kind of eerie, darker smell in the background, but it brings it back around and very much mellows out the banana and makes it all encompassing. So good. Yeah, I don't know. I even like sniffing it at certain points. I almost get like a brownie banana muffin scent to it in some ways, which is interesting. we use the matching splash. We use the Rocnel Sailor 2022 L model on level 2 the whole time. We turned it down to 1 on the 3rd hybrid pass. And we're like BBS right now. And man, Southern Witchcraft, I love their aftershave because afterwards it gets kind of a little sticky. I don't know, maybe that would be a little different on the face. But even on the face, I like it. That kind of stickiness, it makes it feel super hydrated and super supple. Like, I love that feel when my head feels supple. And this does it. You know, a lot of other aftershaves I've used kind of dries it out. Some of them that even don't dry it out, that are still very nourishing. I was about to say nutrition. Nourishing. They don't make my skin feel as like supple and sticky. And this is one of them that does. I need to make a list of what ones do because that's good to know. For the brush, and we still have more lather. Look at this. Let's see. Let's see. Look at that. We could do another pass with that. God, that's so nice. We use this Grizzly Bay V17 knot. So Venturian, number 17. And they're on like 21 right now. Rip in the Universe. You kind of see some of the depth in some of those. Unfortunately, I have an iPhone 8, so it's not the best recorder. Gorgeous brush, though. I talked a little bit about my life updates. Yeah, I don't know from here. You know, I know we're going to go to Key West and hopefully from there figure some things out. And figuring some things out from there, we'll probably be staying there for about 3-4 months. And then from there, we'll probably just be nomadic in Florida, see, you know, different areas with the RV, what we like. I'm not super, I am from Florida, so I'm trying to keep my residency there, but I'm not against moving to another state. Just as financial bloggers like we are, we also know how taxes, state taxes, play into that. You know, some states like Florida, my pension, my military benefits do not get taxed. So that saves me money by living there, right? If I stay in California, I would have to pay taxes to California. So they would take, right, I call it stealing, but they take some of my pension to live here. Even if I'm just living in an RV at an RV park, or if I'm living on land that I bought out, like west of here or something, maybe in Ramona. So that's going to kind of play out from here. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe I'll make some more videos where I talk about some things like the lifestyle. And I think I'm going to start doing some videos where I'll talk about like brushes and razors next to each other, but maybe without the shaving. Appreciate you guys coming by. Now I got this all over my hands. I'll see if I can pause it. See you guys later.